Okay, next tutorial. This time I'm dressed up as Frieza from the anime cartoon series Dragon Ball Z, which I love this series. I grew up watching this series. I grew up watching obviously Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball GT, the before and after series, and Dragon Ball Z was always one of my most favourite animes. It was always that, then Pokemon, then I've got into Studio Ghibli movies, but yeah, so this series is one of my most favourites, and it's one of them looks that have been requested so many times in the past. So I'll flash the first few names on the screen here. Obviously I can't shout out everyone's names because there's just too many, but the very first person that requested it was Chelsea Kirk. If I'm pronouncing that right, I'll pop your name there. But thank you everyone that requested it, but you're the first person. And I also want to shout out to a friend of mine, Henry Cooper, because he really wanted to see me do this makeup. So yep, thanks Henry. So as you can tell, I've gone for a very much direct copy of the cartoon character. I mean, the pictures that I've got for the reference photos, I've literally copied every detail I could possibly get off this photo to make it look as comic booky as, well, not comic booky, as anime and sketchy as possible without being too realistic. But I do like doing this whole cartoon style, so I hope the sketchiness is okay. So yeah, if you'd like to learn how to recreate this makeup, stay tuned. The first thing I'm going to do is get rid of my hair and my eyebrows because Frieza doesn't seem to have any hair at all. So I'm going to be popping on a Latex Bald Cap and blocking out my eyebrows. So I'll pop links on the screen here as I always do to teach you guys how to do both those things, just so I don't have to recap it in this video. I should point out, when I put my bald cap on, it's going to go over my ears, so I'm not going to cut around them because I need to block out my own natural ears, because I'm going to make something new for his ears. Some probably lower down because they're quite round. So I'm going to block up my eyebrows, put a bald cap on and get back to you. So there we are. So I've already gone around the edge of my bald cap with liquid latex, about 3 layers. So then I'm going to take some more liquid latex and I'm going to go around my ears, just both sides, just to get a good base going so that I can start building them up. And I'm just going to angry up my brows a bit. This part's completely optional, but I like having a really strong brow furrow when I do angry characters. Plus Frieza's eyes do tend to start quite overlapping, so yeah, so I'm going to take some latex and I'm going to do the V-shape area on my forehead, so nothing too wide, but I want to start building up about that area there. So I'm going to do about 3 coats of latex and then start building up with some tissue. So after a couple layers, I'm going to do one more layer in the centre, and I'm going to start laying tissue onto this area to start angering it up, but it's going to have to overlap quite a bit just so it starts lining up where your colour of your eye meets. So for example, it would be about that much, so not massively, but there's definitely a hood. So I'm going to just take some tissue which I've already torn into, so I've got thinner strips, just push that down onto the wet latex and then just remove the edges, and I can just soak that in more latex. So the idea is to keep working in that area, making sure the thicker halves are obviously towards the centre and maybe 1 layer towards the outside, and then just latex on its own so it tapers off. But I'm going to be coating up this whole V area here to probably about 7 coats. Obviously make sure to let it dry in between so that it's got enough time to stick down and it doesn't start lifting up. So there we are. So I'm going to do a few more layers on that, but I'll just showing you the general shape. So it's overlapping slightly, but it's very furrowed brow. It does help to use your thumbs as it's drying and start pushing it towards itself just to really angry it up and get that arch going. So I'll do a few more layers to that after it's dry, but for now I'm going to start working on the ears. So as I've already done my ear area, so it's quite tacky, I'm going to take strips of cotton wool, because it's going to be a lot bigger and bulkier than the brow piece. So I'm just going to apply another layer of latex to the area that I want, which is going to be just over your natural ear, but a tiny bit lower. It's a good rule of thumb, I think, to say maybe an inch above your eye. Yeah, so apply the latex in that area again, and then I'm going to take some of the cotton wool in a strip, and I'm just going to apply that and stick it down. And then once I've got it all stuck down, I can take some more liquid latex and just go over that. So it's going to take quite a few layers, but it's important to let it dry in between so it doesn't start losing its shape. But just start adding more and more layers, shaping it with your fingers, dipping your fingers in liquid latex, and just start shaping this. It's kind of like a dome, but then it gets flat on top and round. But I'll show you as a time lapse I'm doing it. I'm also going to do this here at the same time, just so it's long enough time for it all to dry. So there you go. So I guess you call them ear cups. I have no idea. But yeah, so just make sure they're tapered off either side and they're flat on the base of this, and they're as symmetrical as you can get. I know it's quite difficult, but keep working with it and manipulating it with your hands before it dries, and you should be able to get it where you want it to be. Then I'm going to take a purple Barry M, this is number 15 eyeliner pencil. It doesn't really matter what you use, this is just so I can map out the shape, and I don't really want to use black because, I mean, this area is going to be purple, so it will fade into itself. But I'm going to be drawing on the dome that I want now, because I want to paint my face and neck white, but obviously this area needs to be left clear. So I'm going to just trace on the shape that I want for the dome on top, and then I can work on colouring around it. So then I can take my Snazaroo Clown White, I'm just going to apply that all over my face, my new ears, my neck, and I'll do my body last I think, but the important bit is to leave this whole area clear. Then I'm going to take a Lilac watercolour by Snazaroo and I'm just going to colour in this entire area here. So this is the lightest purple that I have, because I'm going to do about three or four shades of purple maybe in this area to do some highlighting afterwards, but I need to start with the lighter shade first. Then I'm going to take a M.A.C Chromacake colour. This is the rich purple colour, so this is going to be the darkest purple. I'm going to use that to paint on the lowlights of the dome, which seem to go across and then spike up, and then there's a few different random shapes in here, but they all seem to be flicking towards the centre to make this appear more rounded. Then for the middle colour, I'm going to take an electric blue watercolour by Snazaroo, and I'm just going to go in between the two shades. Then I'm going to take a tiny bit of the purple watercolour, just use the matte colour, and the Snazaroo Clown White, mix it together, and it's going to give me this, it's going to be mainly white, but it's going to have a hint of pink in there, and I wanted to use that for the highlight. Then I'm going to take a grey watercolour by Grimas, and I'm going to use that to paint on the shadow that he has on one side of his face. Then I'm just going to mix a tiny bit of the grey watercolour with a bit of black Snazaroo watercolour just to make it a little bit darker, and I'm just going to paint on one last shadow that goes along the side of the face. Then, the fun part, I'm going to take a black Snazaroo watercolour and a super sharp angle brush, and I'm going to start working on the eye shape. So I'm going to do the really arched, high up cat's eye. So then I'm going to trace on the rest of the shapes that we've got on the face here. So as you can tell from the shadow, it's all very illustrated. So I'm going to draw on it exactly as I see it. So there's the lines going underneath the eyes, going down the face, underneath the lip. Yeah, so very cartoony. For the lips, I'm going to use my most favourite lipstick ever. This is number 477 Black Cherry by Revlon, and I'm going to use that to do a really sharp lip. So it's going to be sharp Cupid's bow, and the ends of the lips are going to be pointed up ever so slightly. Then I'm going to go over the lips with my most favourite OCC Lip Tar, which is Black Dahlia. And this is just, if you only own one thing from OCC, get this lip tar because it's just beautiful. So I'm just going to apply a tiny little bit of that over these lips. So they're going to look quite black, but there's going to be that hint of red and pink in there to match the head dome. And then I'm just going to draw the little grin lines that he has on both sides of his mouth. So then I'm going to work on the body. So I'm going to take the Snazaroo Clown White and I'm going to paint my neck and my torso. Obviously, this might not be practical to wear out unless you want to go out with no top on, but you can always wear, they do Frieza costumes. The only reason I'm not wearing one is because it comes with a hood, and I like doing this with paint, so yeah. Then I'm going to do the same thing again with the lilac watercolour and the other shades of purple, and I'm going to do 2 domes either side on each shoulder. Then I'm going to take a Collection 2000 Extreme Felt eyeliner pen in black, and I'm going to start tracing on the shapes that it's got for like the breastplate and the collarbone and around these shoulder pads. Then I'm going to take the Grimas Grey again, and I'm just going to do some quick shading for the shadow on this side of the body. So there we go, and I've also done a couple lines around the ears as well. Just, it doesn't really matter if they're symmetrical or not, but I've got 2 lines here and 2 lines here with a black watercolour. Then I'm going to take an Eye Studio Lasting Gel Eyeliner by Maybelline, and I'm going to use that in the waterline of both my eyes, just to really make them as dark as they can be. And there we go, so that's the look complete. So I finished the look off by popping in 2 contact lenses from camoeyes.com. I'll pop the link in the description bar below. I think they're called their Volturi lenses, if that's pronounced right. They're just really cool red and black contact lenses, and I think they complete the look quite well. Yeah, so that's my makeup tutorial for Frieza's final form. See, I hope this sketchy style's okay. I went for the more obviously direct copy of the character rather than try and like make it look more realistic, because I like the comic book style anime shadings, and yeah, I just think the sketchy style's quite cool. So I hope that's okay. So yeah, if you like this makeup, please make sure to know the usual, rate, comment and subscribe and all that jazz. And yeah, so until next time, bye.